Hey there, everybody. Welcome back. I don't usually do the whole 5 steps to happiness bullshit, and today will be an exception. I just wanted to make a brief video. I just wrote down a few thoughts I had and wanted to share them about how to stop hating yourself and others. The reason I thought this was important is because of how many people are just so hateful, not just towards others. That's bad enough. But when you hate yourself and you don't like who you really are, that can be one of the most difficult things. We all wrestle with self analysis and overcompensation and trying to learn about who we are. I don't care who you are. Every single one of us tries to figure out who we are in our lives. But I think that there's 5 simple tools that I popped into my head that I think will allow a lot of people who have a lot of self loathing or loathing for others to let go of that. Number one is to admit that you make mistakes. That sounds so simple, right? But it's not. We all know this. Admit that you make mistakes and admit that you fail at things. And not just that, but be okay with it. Be okay with the fact that you're not always going to be on top of your game. You're not always going to know what's going on in the world. Letting go of that and just listening to what other people have to say sometimes can be extremely rewarding. I consider myself an open minded person, but I still find myself trying to pretend that I know what's best at all times. And I'm well aware of this, and I try to psychoanalyze and move past it. So just admit that you don't really know. And that brings back to Socrates, right? The greatest wisdom lies in knowing you know nothing. Or Aristotle, whatever. Who cares who said it? It's pretty basic knowledge. The more you learn about yourself, the more you learn about life, the more you realize that there's so much more to know that we can never know. And on it goes. Number 2, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself and forgive others for their mistakes and failures. This goes right in line with number 1, to admit that we do this, but then to be able to forgive it is a completely different world. To be able to say, oh, okay, I'm okay with the fact that I wasted these years doing this, or I had this job and I didn't like it, and or I spent this money on this car and I shouldn't have done it. We beat ourselves up over things that we do when we really don't know, what would have happened otherwise. We're comparing it to what we think, how we think life would have been if we hadn't done this. And maybe it was what we needed. Maybe that one failure launches us on a career path or something new. So be able to forgive ourselves for our failures, and especially, more than ourselves, other people. Anyone in your family, anyone in your friend group who's totally screwed up, who's failed you, failed themselves, or done something wrong to you, people who steal, people who cheat, lie, whatever it might be. It happens all the time, and people get so wrapped up in the hatred, they're unwilling to forgive, and life is too short not to. Number 3, which probably should have been number 1 as the most important one, which is find community. Find community based not in division. And I think that that's crucial, because it's easy for people to say, just find a group that you like. No, find a group that's not a fucking cult. Okay? Find a group that isn't based on saying these guys over here are wrong. This is why religion is phenomenal for some people, as long as it doesn't lead them to believe that their religion is best. If you belong to any religion and you talk to another person who belongs to a different religion and you have maybe hatred or animosity towards them for what they believe, I believe your religion is wrong. And it's really that simple to me, because really it comes down to values, and often people aren't even willing to look at values. If anything we should compare, it should be values and morals. And those are different for different groups, but there are some basic tenet to being a human. Don't harm other people, don't screw people over, don't kill, don't maim, leave others alone, protect your environment, be responsible, respectable. But if you can find a group of people that move you, that make you feel like you're part of it, I say join right up. Um, that's a tricky one when you get into the military, because I don't really want to get into that topic. But to move on to number 4, work hard. And don't just seek work, but seek knowledge. And that means push forward in anything you do in life, work hard at it. And be as good at it as you can. Be the best of what you are. There's nothing more frustrating than working with a half-ass worker. We've all done it. I consider myself to be a valuable employee wherever I work, whether I was pumping gas at a gas station or flipping pizzas or doing carpentry. I wanted to be good at what I did. And that's important to me. And when I'm not, I educate myself and learn how to be better at it. And working hard, when I say that, I don't mean, there's the old saying, work smarter, not harder. And definitely as a carpenter who screwed my back up, getting back into it, I'm more careful now. But it's not about working hard physically, although physical labor really does help a lot for men, especially. I don't know if women have the same, experience with doing physical labor. I really don't. I've never even looked into it. But I know that most men, if not all men I've talked to, except for maybe the ones that just can't do anything, enjoy doing some physical labor. Digging a hole, roofing, doing some carpentry, hands-on experience. And those things help you seek that knowledge because ultimately we're feeding our muscles and our minds, and our mind being the muscle, if you will, that if you can fulfill those, it will keep you happier. It will keep you from hating yourself and others. If you don't feel like you're fulfilling your obligation as a human being to work and produce, you will fall behind and you'll feel crappy. It's just one of those things. You can't avoid it. You can, even if you're making good money, because I've heard this from people who, are making residual income. There's, for example, the makers and the takers in this world. The makers are the people who make the money, the people who work, the people who go out and do physical work or write the paperwork, do things. Then there's the takers, the ones who are considered the, quote, managers, right? Who sometimes are necessary, but more often than not are not, like the school administrators who just waste all of our time and make hundreds of thousands a year while the teachers are scraping by. And so it's bureaucracy that causes the problems. But the point here is that those are the takers, the bankers, politicians, and then there's the makers. And from what I understand, being a taker, you might make a lot of money, but you're not going to be fulfilled. You're going to start to have self-doubt or self-loathing or loathing for others, whether it be your constituents, that vote for you. So that's what I mean by on this discussion is about stop hating yourself and others, and sometimes they aren't mutually exclusive. Other times they are. And the very final point, number 5, to make this complete and bring it home, set some fucking boundaries. Set boundaries with everyone. Set boundaries with your friends, with your family, with your pets, with your, everyone you meet. If you're a YouTuber, somebody on social media, do it with your followers, subscribers, whatever you have. Make sure that you let people know who you really are and what kind of bullshit you won't put up with, what you expect out of others. It sounds maybe a little kind of confrontational almost, but it's not. It's setting the stage. It's the example off the top of my head. Let's say you have a friend that you meet and they seem like a really cool person in real life, not on the internet. And they, you hang out a few times and you say, yeah, I'll help you out anytime you need, man. And they call you a week later and they need to sleep on your couch. You let them sleep on your couch that night. Then they call you a week later. They want to sleep on your couch again, right? This is an old story. Not just that, but anything like that. Can I borrow $20? Never pay you back. Many little things that add up, and people don't set boundaries with people. And therefore they build up resentment, not just towards those people, but towards people in general. See, what I'm saying here is that if you have people in your life that take advantage of you, that abuse you, that treat you horribly, then you start to build up an idea that the rest of the society is like that too. And it's not. There are plenty of pieces of shit out there that will take advantage of you at any moment, of course. But there are a lot of good people. I would never take advantage of someone. I'm not, there are people out there. I would return a wallet. I would not steal somebody's, goods or rob somebody and justify it. It's just, it's a crazy world out there. And I think that one of the most important, that was just the 5, to stop hating yourself and others. But the last one is just to, oh my God, this light's falling over. Hold on. To be able to know that most people really do. There we go. Most people do have good hearts, and you just have to get to know them, and you just have to figure out people's intentions. And I'd just like to see more people. I feel like if less people hated themselves in the world, then, it'd be a happier place for all of us, but that takes time. So hopefully that helps someone. And if not, well, tough shit, I fucking tried. Peace out.